Thanks for stopping by the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into the real of reality TV.
Talk to me nice, talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes, don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy, make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it, I wanna see it. See how rewind, when we rewind, feels so nice.
What's up, guys? So listen, Kenya finally dropped her her confessionals. And listen, I want to talk about it a little bit, but before I do that, I just feel that if she kept her focus on this, we wouldn't even be where we are right now.
I'm gone with the wind, fabulous. 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 Now twirl, 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 twirl.
I may be gone with the wind, fabulous, but I'm not going anywhere.
I say I'm fabulous. You say I'm done. I say I'm fabulous. You say I'm ugly. I say I'm fabulous. I'm gone with the wind, 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 fabulous.
So listen, I had to share that for a moment because I really feel that a lot of people forget that she just made this huge production when she finally got her contract, came to their agreements, and they signed, or she signed on the dotted line, and she was letting everybody know that she ain't going anywhere. And it looks like she's gone. So let me share my screen because I want to get into her confessionals. Because I talked about it a little bit before, but that was just a little clip. And it was confusing because I didn't know if that was it. It was like a minute and some change. But here we go. All right, guys.
And so I want to start off by referencing something that means so much to me, especially right now. It is a quote from Kendrick Lamar. Wait, what's the quote? Oh, okay. Got it. Okay, I'm being serious. Okay.
Child, she did not know. Okay. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, it's from his song, Not Like Us, that he performed at the Super Bowl when he added that little snippet to the beginning when he was performing.
Okay. They try to rig the game, but they cannot fake influence. They, you know who they is, tried it, girl, tried to rig the game, meaning, hey, we're going to try to make you think this over here. You cannot fake influence. And I am influential. Hey, everyone, it's your girl, Kenya Moore. Kenya Moore hair care. Kenya Moore hair spa. Kenya Moore YouTube.
Well, I mean, if she had remembered all of that, then anyway, let me go ahead.
Anyway, this is my first ever YouTube content that I'm putting out myself. And I'm so proud of myself because I am taking back the narrative instead of everyone speaking on me. And quite frankly, everyone making money off of me.
Yeah. And yeah, a lot of people have been making money off her name, but you gave them the ammunition. So no pun intended when I use that word. So please don't think that's what I'm trying to say. That's just the word that came to mind. But yeah, you gave people this reason to make money off of you. It's not like they just pull something out of the thin blue sky.
That part. Even sitting down in the interview chair, I haven't done that like for a year. So guess what? I'm doing it for you. Thank you for joining me. And be sure to subscribe because you do not want to miss any of this hot, smoking, piping hot tea. Let's get into it. Let's get into the receipts. Okay. More receipts. I have more receipts for you. And I want to just talk about some things that I have been seeing out in the atmosphere that are completely laughable, most of it, but also in a lot of ways just really dumb. Yeah, I said it, dumb. Portia in her recent YouTube alluded to
Okay, it's really funny to me that she uses the word dumb and then she starts off with Portia because let's be clear, Portia is not the brightest bulb in the box. And so I'm quite sure she knew what she was doing when she said that. And that's fine with me because I don't have any issue with that because yeah, Portia, she is not the smartest person out there.
Another housewife sending me the photos of the now infamous photos that were shown during my spa opening.
I know for a fact that one of these housewives who is still on the show is the one who gave Kenya a big part of that nude information.
So number one, that's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. The photos were online on various porn sites.
So this is the thing. Portia didn't say one of the people on Housewives gave her the images, the pictures. She said gave her the nude information. Information. So just because the images were on sites online, I mean, obviously they were, but how would Kenya have known that? Like, did she just decide one day, let me do a Google search and go deep diving into seeing if this chick has anything out there that I could use as, no pun intended, ammunition against her. So Portia said nude information.
Many porn sites. I don't watch porn. I'm not a porn expert. I don't enjoy it. I don't participate. I don't get anything from it. Okay. I would like to just rather see my own body in action, maybe in a mirror or something like that. But I'm not going to sit there and watch porn.
Okay, not that this is even important because I actually do agree with Portia, Kenya on that. And like I said, not that that's even it's not even really relevant, but I agree with her on that. That's not my cup of tea. I don't judge anybody that does, but that doesn't mean just because you don't watch it and don't enjoy it, it has nothing to do with you getting that information. In actuality, it gives more, I would say, it gives more weight to what Portia said when Portia said she knows someone on the cast that gave Kenya the word or words that Portia used was nude information. She didn't say that gave her the images, that sent her the photos, that sent her the screenshots, that sent her the video links or anything like that. She said nude information. So if you're not a porn connoisseur, then it would make more sense that someone would have to send you that information because you wouldn't even know where to go to look for that stuff. So her saying that actually gives more weight to what Portia said than her saying, I'm not a porn connoisseur. You don't have to be.
The investigators and everyone involved, not including Drew Sidora, found those images and they're still there. That brings me to Ming Lee. Someone said that Ming Lee was somehow involved because they know each other, and Ming said out of her own mouth that she has a lot of evidence of Britt Edie's past performances, gigs. Let me say this for the people in the back. We did not get any photos from any person. They came directly from a search online. The photo.
Okay, but you searching online, how would you know where to search? Because the World Wide Web is immense. And I'm not going to take the time to go and look for that stuff because I'm not interested to find it. But that still doesn't mean that Ming Lee did not give you the information on where to go to look for it. So that doesn't clear her. And actually, I heard Tasha K talking about this Ming Lee chick and how Ming Lee actually was the one that got that information to Kenya. I actually do believe that. And the reason I believe it, not because Tasha K said it, but Ming Lee with that long post that she did. Let me try and get back to that and read it. It says, I wasn't drunk. And what I said verbatim was, if I had given those pictures or videos to Kenya, it would have been the ones I have in my phone of you at that party. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those are not on the internet, nor have I ever shared or shown them to anyone, parentheses. And I've had every phone since 2011, in parentheses. Britt, you're 1 year younger than me, so you were well over age. And this narrative that I'm mad because we dated the same person is complete BS. One of my best friends used to be his fiance, which you were cool with before you even dated him. So stop it. I don't have a problem with you, like I said to your face, and I would never leak or share any pictures or videos of you, period. You had a past, so what? Just tell everybody your whole what your whole got deleted and you're married now. FYI, and that image from that video is still on the internet as we speak. Like I said, the internet told your business, not me. Now leave me alone. So I believe it because this chick is apparently going to be on this upcoming season of Basketball Wives, and I'm going to talk about that. Not so much to talk about her in itself, but I want to talk about Basketball Wives in a separate commentary because I just have my thoughts about that show. I don't watch it anymore. I used to back in the day, but I have some thoughts about it. But I heard that she's going to be on this upcoming season with the chick who is a lesbian, Ty, that was on I guess a couple of seasons, if not one season of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta when she was dating Mimi, who is Stevie J's baby mama. And she was the one that they was rumored to have been messing around with Drew Sidora. That's what they were saying. So this chick, I guess she was in the running to be on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, didn't make it. She's been on some scenes in the background, not mic'd up, but so she's not a friend to the show, but she's like been in the background. If you're so-called quote a friend of the show, then you get mic'd up in certain scenes. She's not been mic'd up, but they have shown her. You've seen her in some of the background scenes. My personal opinion is if they were at one point friends, and she's feeling some heat about the fact that they chose Brit over her, I do believe that she felt in some type of way like, well, maybe if I help Kenya out, who was a at this point an OG on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, I'll garner favor with her, and maybe this will help me to get on the show, like really get on the show. And the reason I say that is because if you remember that chick Latoya Forever, she's a YouTube blogger and like got like a lot of followers, and she was on a couple of seasons, maybe just one, I can't remember, of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. If you remember her, she came on and she became very friendly with Kenya, and that helped her to be in a lot of scenes. A lot of scenes. Even though she came on as a friend of the show, she was really in a lot of scenes and she was coming at Drew. I really didn't like her. I didn't like her on the show. And I know a lot of people don't like Drew, but I actually was rooting for her over Latoya Forever. And I'm glad that she's no longer on the show. So I'm saying that to say I do believe that Ming Lee is the one that gave Kenya the information on where to find the stuff. I don't believe that Kenya and her so-called investigative team just decided to go, strolling around the World Wide Web and, oh, look at that. We found this chick's whole past, and look, her legs are spread wide open and her mouth is spread wide open and all this. No, I believe that chick gave Kenya the information. And that's what I believe. You let me know your thoughts.
In the batch. We did not get any photos from any person. They came directly from a search online. The photos that were revealed are not considered revenge porn. I went so far as, oh my God, did I do something wrong? I don't know this lady. I don't know any of her ex-boyfriends. I don't know any of her ex-friends. I've never seen this lady before in my life. I want to make sure I didn't break any laws. So I engaged a local attorney who advised me about the federal law as well as the Georgia state law. I shared photos that were readily available online. I did not commit revenge porn. I shared a publicly available photo that was accessible online.
Okay, maybe she didn't break a law. I'm not saying that she did. It still doesn't mean that the act that she did wasn't revenge. So it may not have been revenge PRN in the sense of her breaking a law, but it definitely was meant to humiliate because just because those pictures and images or videos or whatever are readily available on the World Wide Web, all of the people that were at her hair spa definitely didn't know that. A lot of those people didn't even know her. So she was introducing this woman to this crowd to let them know, let me let you guys know about this chick that I'm just learning about. Here's her past. Here's her past nose, her past face, her past lips. And this is what she looks like today. And oh, by the way, this is what the dick looks like that she had her mouth wrapped around. I'm just saying that is revenge. It may not have been a crime, but it was revenge. So just because you didn't commit a crime doesn't mean that it wasn't immoral.
If I showed Kim Kardashian's sex tape right now, is that revenge for her? It's not. And then while we're talking about that, I've already said it was wrong. I should not have done it at my salon, this beautiful salon that I worked so hard for, that I spent a lot of money on, that money that could have been spent in other areas, including supporting my child. So yes, I am very sorry that I shared the photos because it wasn't right, but I did not break the law. And I'm very sorry for what I did. So in the comfort of my own home, I was joking around with my bestie, which I always do, my very best friend, Brandon DeShazer. We were having a dispute on the show with Phaedra. And I was in my closet and I brought out one of my firearms. And I'm like, oh, do I have to use this on Phaedra tonight? Giggling, ha, 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 he. Phaedra was not around, nowhere to be present. Phaedra never saw it. I never said it in any threatening way. I was not upset. You cannot compare apples to oranges. If you want to do that, does Phaedra sitting on the reunion couch with her taser ready for me count? Okay, moving on.
Tell us about your first interaction with Britt and why you feel like she misinterpreted your energy.
Oh, I don't think she misinterpreted anything. It was all very calculated. So the first interaction I had with all of the ladies was actually really pleasant. I was excited to meet them. It was season 16. I'm like, oh my God, this is season 16. I'm the only one standing. I
want to pause it for a moment and just go back just a little bit. You know, she was saying, I'm sorry. Okay. That's why a lot of people who don't see it for her, and even if they do see it for her, but they don't see it for what she did, that's why some people are like, that's, if you're apologizing, then you just apologize, but you don't keep beating a dead horse. And I'm not saying that she doesn't have the right to defend herself or to speak for herself. And this is why she's doing this. I get that. But some people felt like the apology that she gave, it wasn't an apology for doing what she did. A lot of people felt like it was an apology for, I'm sorry about doing it where I did it, which was at my business, because I should not have done it there. And so I just wanted to point that out.
Real OG, 12, 13 years in, and I felt like I could be mother to everyone. I'm a mother, okay? Show these girls I've been through the fire. I know what it's like to be a newbie. I know what it's like to be here. I know everything that could possibly happen has happened to me on this show. And I felt like I could speak, as someone that could be supportive, could read a girl if she's wrong. And my first interaction with all of the newbies, I was like, oh, you girls are so pretty. Kelly was there, Brittany was there, everyone was there except for Angela at the moment, and also Drew. And I just remember coming in, just being very pleasant to everyone. And there was an issue about a ring that someone made. I feel as though that was clearly a made up issue. If someone has an engagement ring on and not a wedding band, not the other way around, because if you just have on one ring and it's just a circular ring, that's usually a wedding band. Now you could choose to wear whatever you want to wear on your hand. No one's saying that.
What is she wearing on her hand? I want to know, because isn't she divorced? Just a question, not that it's relevant.
Was confused at what she was saying about it being a new ring or a different ring, or her second ring is actually what she said. I'm like, oh, you've been married before? I don't know this girl. I never seen her before in my life. So again, you're wearing an engagement ring. I'm assuming that either you're engaged or you're I don't think you could be anything else. I think my fans know and I'm being shady. I think they call me the shade assassin for a reason. That wasn't shady. We know what my shady looks like. Let's move on. It wasn't shady. So after I saw her and, we had the whole moment again about the hug was a very awkward. I don't like to hug. If you see me out in public, I will probably never hug you, because I do believe people transfer energy to you and you have to really kind of know someone and know where they're coming from to hug them. So I don't really hug people that I don't know. That's not a crime. That is a boundary that I have for myself, and people need to respect that.
And I agree. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. I don't know anyone except maybe Brit. And like I said, you don't have to be for Brit to believe that Kenya was out of line for what she did. I'm not standing with Brit and saying that she had every right to feel slighted by Kenya, whatever. Kenya didn't know her. So, like, yeah, Brit was making a big issue out of nothing. But that's what a lot of these reality shows are. They make big issues out of nothing.
It's not personal. Then we get to the next time I see her, the Balmain event. I'm like, oh, you look so beautiful, like a Balmain Barbie. Look at me. Hi, Balmain Barbie. How are you? Hi. You know, I hugged her then, hugged her when I saw her another time, hugged her at the dinner.
That was a pat. That was a pat. That wasn't a hug.
That's a hug without getting makeup on me. And she was complaining every step of the way. And I'm like, this girl has very bad energy. But I paid the dust and I just went on to have a good time because I was actually having a really good time at the dinner before it went left. So the whole thing about being targeted, her being targeted by me, people asking her if I did something to her, she can't answer why, because it didn't happen.
And I agree. I mean, it was stupid, petty stuff. But again, stupid and petty. And yeah, let's just keep it moving.
You want to know what I really think happened? I think that when she was interviewing for Real Housewives of Atlanta, she wanted the villain role. She wanted to come after me because she felt like, okay, well, Portia wasn't there at the time. I was, right? And I believe that she made them promises that she was going to come after me. She was going to be this girl that could read, this girl that was doing all this, you know. And when she met me, Portia flushed this out. She was surprised and thrown off that I was so nice, because I am nice. I don't really bother people unless they bother me. We know I retaliate. We know that's what I do. I'm not saying it's always right, but I'm not going to let anybody run over me. And I have no reason to not like someone that I don't know. And I was always nice to the girls. The point is, I think she overpromised what she would do on the show. The first 3 weeks of filming, she was exceptionally boring. There was nothing outstanding about her. She didn't come in. She wasn't dressed in designer clothes from head to toe. Her husband wasn't particularly interesting. Like, no, not trying to throw shade in the husband. Sorry about that. But there was just nothing in the group scenes that I saw her in that made me think, oh, that's a star, baby. I was actually more captivated by Kelly and Angela. And of course, I knew Shamia already. I knew her personality. But she was failing. Like, she was dull. Okay? So I think when she kept trying to come after me, and I just was like, okay, girl, I see you. You're trying to have a moment. You're falling flat. This is your 3 weeks in. Producers are probably asking you, girl, when are you going to show up? And you thought, okay, I'm going to show up tonight. And I think was her downfall from there. This is the biggest question that I have for the people that come on reality TV that have a shady past that you're not proud of. Okay, we've all done things in our past we're not proud of. Nobody was perfect. To the Simons, to the Chrisleys, it went from someone saying you're 17, age of consent, to, oh wait, that's not going to track. Okay, let me just say I was underage. No. So that's what I just don't understand. Like, I'm not even going to open that can of worms, because my whole question and line of questioning would be completely different from everybody else's. I would want to know, if you're going to make us daily, you need to prove, because we already know you're capable of lying, right? Excuse me 1 second.
And they show Brit's post here says, it's never a good feeling being targeted or hazed by someone I thought would embrace me into a new circle that I never met. For the record, I've never once had possession of any weapons or threatened anyone ever. I've never even been to jail, in a fight, or even had as much as a speeding ticket. That's not in my character. I am hurt by the narrative that's being displayed. Wrong is wrong. That's what Brit wrote.
Okay, wow. Another Google alert. Okay, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I don't understand why any person would come on reality TV when they have done things in the past or are currently doing things that they don't want to be found out. Why? And then to give someone a reason to expose you. In the words of Samuel L. Jackson, am I the only sane motherfucker here?
Well, I mean, I guess, because it seems like almost everybody that comes on the Real Housewives of Atlanta has a past that people find out about, and it becomes a thing. But yeah.
Like really? Am I the only sane person in the room? Why? Because they're so egotistical, they don't think they'll be found out. Like, okay, wow. You paid to scrub the internet out of your own words. Okay. Well, they let some dust in the corner. And over there behind her too. a lot of people say that I had never taken accountability for anything, and that's simply not true. And I went on Tamron Hall. I was promoting my daughter's book. The issue came up, and I said, I take full accountability. I am not playing a victim. I'm telling my own truth. I ultimately chose to go in Tamron Hall because I really needed to publicly take accountability for my actions. I mean, sharing that photo at my own salon opening was a serious lapse in judgment. Everybody can possibly now understand that it was definitely not the smartest thing to do. And I deeply regret that I hurt anyone that was involved, including the cast, including Brittany, including the crew, including any of the guests that were there to come to celebrate me. I mean, this platform gave me a chance to sincerely apologize and not to excuse what I did, but to own it fully. Sometimes the things that you do can come back and they can hurt you. And as I've said here before, I definitely did not, I escalated the situation. I didn't need to. Kim Fields, okay? People.
Pausing it for a moment. Okay, the accountability. If you are saying, I take full accountability, I'm sorry for what I did, I should not have done it, but these are the repercussions of it, then you have to accept that. I mean, that's kind of like a part of accountability too. It's not, you can't just say, well, I said I'm sorry, but I don't like the punishment that you're choosing to give me for what I did. You can't really dictate the form of repercussions that come your way just because you say, I apologize, I'm sorry, and I take full accountability. So that's the other thing, too, that I think sometimes people and even Kenya at this point isn't really taking into account because I even had the question, was it fair for them to just say, you know what, we're not going to film with her anymore? Or should they have allowed her to continue to film, but maybe not allow them to film in the other, well, film with each other, I meant to say. And maybe something she wouldn't be in every episode and kind of how they did Monique Samuels. Because I mean, Monique Samuels beat Candace's ass. And I'm not trying to compare the two to say they're exactly the same, but I would say that what Monique did was pretty much worse because that's physical violence. And so I yeah, yeah.
People are so mad. That was what, 6, 7 years ago, and rightfully so. I issued a public apology to Kim when I was on Watch What Happens Live. They asked me, "Is there anything that I regret?" And I was like, "Absolutely. I think you learn from regret." But for me, I definitely regretted pulling her chair. That was not right. She's a class act, and we are over it. Like, she invited me to come on her show to film with her just last year.
And that may be well and good. And I'm glad to hear that. But that's the other thing too. It's like, yeah, we make bad decisions, but it's like, how many times are you going to continue to make bad decisions on this show? And that's why a lot of people felt like, well, shoot, she's got a history on this show of doing things that are terrible. So why does this surprise anyone? People felt like, and that's why Cynthia said what she said, I feel like you're better than this. And I felt like that too. I'm not a twirl team or twirl squad, whatever, they call themselves, but I actually like Kenya. And I said this before, in those beginning seasons when she came on, I was rooting for her a whole lot more than other people were because I really didn't feel that they were being fair to her. And no, she didn't do everything or say everything that was right. But I also felt like some of the things that she was doing too, it was for entertainment purposes only and for the sake of the show. Because no, she may not have ever been an A-list actress, but unlike a lot of them on that reality show, she has a history of being an actress. So I felt like she was taking on the role, not saying she was being completely fake and just acting all the time, but she was, I feel like, playing a bit of a role and being a bit of a character of herself. Caricature, I should say, of herself.
The upshots. So wrong. I do take accountability. Another time I've taken accountability is, and these are just from what I can remember off the top of my head, was with Phaedra. I did some things with Phaedra that crossed the line. She did absolutely things that crossed the line with me. But I apologize for my part and what I did to contribute to the downfall of our friendship. And that was on the show. So I'm not sure why people didn't acknowledge that was taking accountability, but I absolutely did in that moment too. I'm not
And that's the thing. So, yeah, you may have done you did some things in the past and you say you took accountability. So it's like you can't just keep doing stuff and say, "Well, I did it. I'm sorry. I'm taking accountability." Don't keep doing it. It's like learn from those things, grow from them and move forward and be better. And a lot of people felt like she had gotten to that point, especially after all of the BS that she had went through with her donor, that she used to call a husband for like 5 minutes, Mark. Like, you have your beautiful daughter, the child that you always wanted. So just be better. So, yeah, Brit didn't do everything that was right. And again, I'm not here defending her, but it's just like you should not have done what you have done. So you can say, I apologize and I took full accountability, but if these are the actions that they chose to take, it may not be fair. But if you say you take full accountability, then you have to accept the repercussions that come with that too. That's a part of taking accountability.
playing a victim. I am in this situation partly because of my choices. Back to the original point, I have taken accountability. So you guys just choose not to see it. It's okay, but I'm just going to remind you. So now it's time for a commercial break. And since people want to talk about snacks,
Yeah, we're going to skip over that and no hate, but yeah.
producer, not only did I go to the producer then, I also went to the production company that night, explained what happened, and said, I don't know what's going on. We're 3 weeks into filming, and this girl we don't know is threatening to unalive me.
So she said she did go to production and she went that night. Okay.
I've been on the show for 12 seasons. I have never once had anyone threaten me with I have not ever had anyone allude to unaliving me. So I took it seriously because it's one thing if, listen, it would never be right. But if a Portia or, even a Drew or somebody that we know that has something to lose, did you hear me say that? If it was someone that we already knew, that we have been filming with for years, and we know that they have something to lose, maybe I would have taken it differently.
And that's why it's hard for me to feel like again, I'm not saying that she didn't have a right to feel some type of way about what Brit said and what Brit did. But the reason why I stand on this, you can agree to disagree. But the reason I stand on this is because if you are genuinely feeling threatened by this person, thinking that they're going to inflict bodily harm on you, either by their hands or a weapon, and you really are in fear, that's not the way you don't respond to do something that's going to make them angrier. And what she did, yeah, it humiliated her. You don't know how she was going to receive it, especially if you felt like she was, she could possibly inflict bodily harm on you and your daughter, possibly. Are you going to do something that's going to infuriate them more? You don't know if what you did was going to just humiliate her and make her feel ashamed. It I feel like it would rile this person up even more to come pop, 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 at my front door. Like, that's what I'm saying. So if you say you went to production and they did nothing about it, then that's when you go to the higher ups. That's when you get legal involved. That's when you say, I refuse to film with this person because I feel unsafe. Not, all right, let me get let me get my investigative team going. Let's go search in the World Wide Web. Oh, we got some nude images. We got some PORN. Let's go to Kinko's and get this blown up and put them on poster boards and showcase it to the audience, to the public, to the guests at my grand opening. No.
But when someone you don't know, who basically, in my words, like you found off the street, is doing all of that, you guys weren't there. You do not know how intense it got. It got so intense. So I did make my complaint. Well, I went to the police before, and honestly, I'm the only cast member there that's ever been physically attacked. Whether you say I deserved it, whether you say I did this or did that, it's obviously a polarizing conversation, and it was back then. But I was. and still am the only one on the show that was physically attacked. So when
And back then when it happened, I did not agree with it. And I felt like she had every right to press charges against Portia, even though she was, yes, she was antagonizing her, and I talked about that already too. So I wasn't a fan of what happened to her. A lot of people champion her. Carlos went and picked up Portia and took her off of the stage and all this. It's like ridiculous. And everybody was rallying around Portia. I didn't agree with that. I didn't.
someone is new to me coming around and saying that they are going to unalive me and use a on me, and then what you heard 2 or 3 more times saying they had whips and MF, that wasn't about the neighborhood. And you try to change the narrative to make it benefit you because of your inaction, that's rigging the game. You're rigging the game. You clearly rigged the game against me. Listen, I'm going to leave it right there. I did what I was supposed to do. And I take a lot of umbrage to someone now saying that they didn't have a gun. And so somehow that's supposed to absolve them from everything that happened after. And we're going to show this clip where she said prior to Housewives that she keeps a gun at all times. Roll it.
Keep my pistol with me always. You just never.
Security that's at the gas station?
I only go to gas stations that have security there. I only go to the same gas stations if I'm in the city.
Yeah.
On her Instagram, she said that wasn't her character. She did not threaten anyone with. She did not have a. She never said anything about. So we know that that was a complete lie. So we already know you're a liar. We already know she's capable of lying and trying to rig the game.
Okay, so why didn't you use that? That's what I'm saying. Kenya's too, and I don't like to use age, but well, so I won't use age. But girl, you're too experienced and too mature to have leveled to using images to exploit and shame someone versus using that with your attorney and getting this bitch the heck up off of the show, or Bravo's going to have a hell of a lawsuit on their hands for not protecting me. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Kenya didn't have the right to feel some type of way, but I am still saying that if she really truly felt threatened, the way she responded is not the way you respond when you feel threatened.
Let's go back to this whole Watch What Happens live interview where Andy asked her, did she have a gun? And she said, oh, no, I didn't have a gun. Well, I have proof otherwise. Nobody checked bags when we're filming. Nobody checked cars when we're filming. You show up, you go inside, and you start to film. But weeks later, you want to say, oh, we had an investigation and found that you weren't in violation of the gun policy. Really, bitch? I did what I did. I complained to HR. I did all these other things. Now you want to do an investigation? 3 weeks have gone by because someone said it. Well, we already know that person is a liar, right? Because we have proof, solid proof from her on Instagram, and she lied about talking about the gun that night. So we already know you're a liar. And now we're investigating something 3 weeks after the fact because of what someone said that wants to keep their job. Oh, okay, that's okay. Hey, did you have a gun that night? No. Okay, investigation closed. Can you go to the airport and say you have a?
I'm sorry, that video is a trip. I'm not going to play it again. But the security guard not patting anybody down and letting them go. That's a trip.
And not get arrested? Can you go to the bank and say you have a and not get arrested? Can you go any place that it will put people in danger and say you have a and not be committing a crime? That's not a crime. That's not against policy. I'm just asking the question. Can you go to your job tomorrow and say, you, Joe, you gonna learn today? You don't know who the fuck I am, Joe. Fuck you, Joe. You gonna have some respect around here. I got whips. That's why I keep a for like you, Joe.
I'm going straight to HR.
You going to HR and the police. If that happened on Beverly Hills, you think she would be in jail or punished or out of a job? You think if she had said that to Kyle or Teresa Giudice or any other housewife on any other show, do you think she would still have a job?
And so if you already know that you are in an environment that they treat others differently than you, then this would not be the way to handle it. And you have to fight that much harder, not going low, thinking that's going to get you what you want. And so I really don't want to hear about, well, if it was Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or Real Housewives of New Jersey or Real Housewives of Salt Lake City or whatever, because what you did still was wrong. So I'm sorry, I can't with that one.
I'm just asking the question. Things been handled differently, I would have never felt a need to protect myself or escalate the situation. And people go, oh, well, how is that protecting yourself? Because where I'm not even mention where I'm from. Where I'm from, and you may end up having to delete this, but I'm gonna say it. You tell me if it's too hard. So that's why the decision was made for me to escalate it in the way that I did. Because if you keep messing with me, I got more and more with you. So leave me alone. And that person likely will leave you alone. And they certainly wouldn't be going around playing victim. They would just go on about their business and find another target. That's that. You want the truth? That's the truth.
Do you not feel that your retaliation allowed the new girl to trick you out of your spot?
Ooh, I don't think there's any such thing. I already had a spot. How can somebody trick? It wasn't a spot up for grabs. Like nobody snatched a peach. Everybody had a peach.
Well, I don't think that person meant take your place, but they got you out of your own spot. You're not there anymore. So yeah, you took the bait. If that what you say that she was trying to rig the game, well, you allowed her to rig it if you feel that that's what she really did.
So nobody tricked me out of my spot. So that does make sense.
Do you feel like Cynthia threw you under the bus and it's Team Brick?
I'm not going to talk about Cynthia.
People want to know how much you make.
Wow. Cynthia didn't do anything to her. I'm sorry. I don't have to be in the rooms. I don't have to be on the phone or anything like that. I really feel that she is people like to call Cynthia wishy-washy, but I really do believe that Cynthia is just somebody who really tries to be a good friend and she tries to give people grace. That's my personal opinion. And Kenya just is who she is. I really like I like Kenya's a beautiful woman. There's no doubt about that. But I've said this before. I feel like Kenya would be a person that I would not be able to be a friend with because of stuff like this. And I don't have that type of space in my life. I can't.
Make a season, honey.
How much I make a season? Well, I mean, I don't talk about money. When it comes to like my own money, I see a lot of these crazy reports saying like my net worth is 800,000. My house is worth 3 million. Like, how is my net worth 800,000? Like, I own that much in cars. Like, just stop. Like, I think it's taggy to talk about money, so I'll just leave it at that. But I think it's decent to say that I make more than the girls that are on the show now.
Thank you. Saved by the bell. Saved by the bell. Will you attend the reunion?
Will I attend the reunion? I haven't been invited to the reunion. In fact, I was invited and then disinvited a few months ago.
So what does that mean? That doesn't make any sense. Do you get that? She was invited but then disinvited a few months ago? Hmm.
The disrespect is insane. You know, from me being someone who has always loved Real Housewives of Atlanta and always wanted to see them win, to being shut out, not given an opportunity to apologize the same way that they gave that grace to someone else on the show. I think it's really odd, right? To be erased from history of the show, to not be in the opening credits, to not have confessionals. When Kim Zolciak left the show, she got a whole new show. She was in the confessional. She was a peach holder.
I am no fan of Kim. Anybody that knows me knows I cannot stand Kim Zolciak, okay? But let's be clear, Kim did not do what you did. She just left. And I won't say she just left, but she left. She got unmiked, and her husband at the time, Croy, was cursing at the cameraman saying, "Get the F out of here." I don't agree with her getting her own show either. I really don't. But I also will say that it's not like she did something to someone else on the show. And she just said, she didn't go on the cast trip with you guys. So really, maybe it's not fair that she got her own show, but this, like she said, you can't compare apples to oranges. That's a situation like this. You're, you know, you're apples and Kim is orange, or vice versa, whatever.
You got girls taking glasses and knocking each other upside the head with real glasses on Jersey. You've had people talking about porn on Jersey. You've had people exposing, a real life revenge porn case on Vanderpump Rules. They're working. They haven't been made to look like a scumbag or a villain. Really? That's how I'm treated? That's pretty bad, I would say. So I don't anticipate an imitation. Yeah, I don't see that.
Why do we promote the salon more?
I've always been struggling with building a team. That's why I always admire Andy so much, because she has this awesome team. She has an amazing team and she totally gets it, but you need help. And so when I'm just building out the salon and I'm out of all this money, 400,000, I'm fighting with the landlord about giving me my little $80,000 back in my TI. Obviously I built a whole new, top floor, put all this money into it. And then thinking about, okay, now I'm going to put even more money in hiring a team and doing this and doing that. It just felt like I can handle it. Let's just, I'm not going to throw good money after bad. We're just going to let a year go by and see how it goes. I've been open for over a year and a half, about a year and a half, I think, at least a solid year. And what I have loved the most about this salon is the women, the customers that come in and are so happy with the results. The smiles, the repeat customers, like we have 85% repeat customers. And then when
But that could be you have 5 clients and 2 of them are 1.5 return. I'm not trying to be funny, guys. I'm speaking of what I know. I have been in the beauty industry for going on 17 years this coming September, and it is not easy. And I don't hate on anybody that tries it, but it baffles me sometimes when I see people, they feel like just because they have a name or they are, a celebrity or whatever, that they think doing this is going to be easy. But when you have to depend on other people, it is not. It is not. So, shoot, I could have told her, girl, stick with your products. If you want to have a brick and mortar, then just have a space where you could have people come and buy your stuff in your own space versus trying to get it all into distribution in other spaces and do it that way versus trying to have a salon, because having employees and staff, especially since COVID, it is not easy. I have not had a full-time administrative assistant since October 2020. And I'm using virtual assistants now for administrative help since 2023. And that's actually been working extremely well because people don't want to work. And I have a small team of people because I also do services. I'm a licensed esthetician, if you guys don't know. But yeah, it's hard. So I feel her pain when it comes to this business, because for her, she put all of this money into building out that space, but at the end of it all, the bills are still due every month, and they don't care if you built out this beautiful space for you to have this business in. If you can't pay those bills, then they're going to want you up out of there.
the Housewives show airs and the whole scandal airs, I have all these strangers from all over the country leaving bad reviews. We go from 4.9 Google reviews rating to 4.4. And every day there's somebody saying something crazy to try to hurt my business. If you don't like me, you don't have to like me. If you don't like what I did, you don't have to like what I did.
And oh, I was about to use a word. That's foul. I'll say that. I don't like when people do that, and I really wish that Google had a way of scrubbing stuff like that, because people will do stuff like that if they don't like you and they feel like some way about you, and they'll attach you to the business versus leaving a review about the experience they had versus just going online and leaving a terrible review about your business. That's not cool. She's lucky she has a 4.3 and not, something in the threes or the twos, because there have been businesses that have had that happen to them because of weird people out here. But I'm just saying that's not cool for people to do that, to her business. But if you have true customers and clients that are really looking for your business and they go look at the reviews, if they have any sense, they'll read those reviews and they could tell if someone's just being nasty and they're just deciding to leave a negative review because they don't like you or they don't like the business or maybe it's competition or whatever, versus someone that came to the business and they're leaving a review about their experience.
But why are you coming after my business? The same, it's a culture that it can be very beneficial to you because I have a lot of supporters and Team Twirl is awesome. But then when you have these bad seeds and people that don't think things through and just try to spew hate in your direction, that's what makes it really bad. That's not fair to the customers that really get great service when they come here. And it's up to them. If you don't want to come to the salon, stay at home.
And I agree with that.
It's as simple as that. You don't have to come here, but why are you trying to ruin other people from coming here and having great experiences? I work so hard sometimes I'll step in and do a head spa. If I don't have a stylist, Walter can tell you that. If I don't have a stylist for the day or someone calls out, I don't want to let anyone down. So I'll put, my shampoo gloves on, or I'll shampoo someone's hair, or I'll do a deep conditioning treatment because I want everyone to believe in the space.
Wow. Okay. I don't know the rules for the State Board of Cosmetology in Georgia, but I know in the state that I operate in, even to wash hair, to shampoo hair, I should say, not wash hair, even to shampoo hair, just to touch it, you have to be a licensed cosmetologist. Is that the rule in Georgia? I don't know. Every state is different when it comes to these boards of cosmetology, but hey, I mean, if she has that much dedication to her business, girl, you got to do what you got to do, and I feel her on that. I do. I do.
And have an amazing time when they're here. And that was always my vision.
The girls want to know what you got in the works.
All right, I'm going to end it there, guys, because this is just now at the end questions about her acting and whatever. But listen, I don't have an issue with Kenya coming out and saying her piece and doing her confessionals. I actually think it makes sense to do it on her own platform. Why not? Everybody else talks about it, so why can't she talk about it? But I'm saying she keeps saying, everyone's saying I'm not taking accountability, and I have taken accountability. Again, like I said, just because you're saying you apologize, a part of taking accountability is accepting the repercussions that come from it based on what they decided to do. I'm not saying that it's fair and it's right. And that's why I asked the question in one of my previous commentaries. Did Bravo do her wrong by not allowing her to continue to film this season and giving her the opportunity to come to the reunion? Because hell, they gave Monique Samuels the opportunity to do that, and she again beat Candace's ass. So what Kenya did was wrong, but she didn't invoke physical violence against anybody. And I don't believe that Britt was going to do that. She should have never said it. But I also don't believe that Kenya really felt that much of a physical threat to, towards herself, because if she did, you don't do stuff like this in response to feeling like someone's capable of coming at you with, like she said, weapons, pistols, and whips and chains and bricks and nunchucks and whatever. I'm just saying, so you guys, let me know your thoughts about everything in the comments. Kenya, obviously, as always, was beautiful, but I really feel like she did herself a disservice because she forgot the mission. She forgot the mission, guys.
I'm gone with the wind, fabulous. 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 Now twirl, 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 twirl.
I may be gone with the wind, fabulous, but I'm not going anywhere.
I say I'm fabulous. You say I'm done. I say I'm fabulous.
And it's sad because somebody wrote this. This didn't age well, and it surely didn't. So anyway, guys, you let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.